Hello. Hi. All the confusion today. So, I am not Dale McElhinney. He is my husband. I am Emma McElhinney, and I am here to do my normal Wednesday live at 5. And tonight we're all about debunking fat loss myths. So, I need to do my normal check that, first of all, I am live. So, my husband's phone is this is his work phone I've got just now. It's quite an old one. It's an iPhone. I'm not really an iPhone fan. Let's see. So I just want to check. First of all, if you can hear me and see me okay, give me a wee hashtag live in the comments. And if you are catching me later, give me a wee hashtag replay. And I've put the link to the document that you're going to need in the description of the video. Oh, there's Claire. Hi, Claire. I hope that works, but I'm also going to put it in the comments as well. So you've got the document to refer to. Obviously, you're going to save it and keep it for reference. And some of you, you know who you are. You might laminate it and keep it in a binder. Love that. That's the best thing that I've seen all week. Genuinely, best thing I've seen all week. So, debunking the fat loss myths. Oh my God, right. So while we're on here, I would love for you guys to think about some of the myths. Think some of the statements that you have seen or heard over the years about things that you need to do to lose weight. So I have picked 6. There are possibly 42,000 that we could go to, but I've only picked 6 today. So I'm going to run through them and try and apply real life common sense principles to make it factual. What do we do to get the result without having to do ridiculous things? All right, so let me see, am I still alive? This is dodgy. Yes. Oh yes, babies. Right, so fat loss myth number 1. You must cut out sugar, carbs, cut out an entire food group for fat loss success. So there are some absolute nutrition Nazis out there. Fact. Absolute nutrition Nazis that say sugar is more addictive than cocaine, that tell us that carbs, a slice of bread is going to kill you, it's going to make you insulin not work, and you're going to gain 2 stone just by eating a cake, right? So no. So yes, if you cut out an entire food group, carbs, sugar, chances are you are going to lose weight. Now, when it comes to carbs, if you cut out carbs in the very early days, day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're going to lose a lot of weight in the scales because it's a decrease in fluid in your cells. So you're going to weigh less because there's going to be less volume of you. But if you continue to cut out carbs, you will lose body fat. Fact, you will. But the reason why you're losing body fat is because you're in a calorie deficit, not because you've cut out carbs. If you were to cut out sugar, chances are, sugar has got calories, but it doesn't fill you up. It has no real nutritional value. It makes food taste good. But if you cut out sugar, chances are you will lose body fat over a course of days because you are in a calorie deficit. You're removing those calories from your life. If you cut out broccoli, chances are, depending on how much broccoli you eat, chances are you're going to be in a calorie deficit, so you're going to lose body fat. So it doesn't matter what food types you're cutting out, what not. If you're in a calorie deficit, you are going to lose body fat. So we do not need to cut out those things. Now, there are some people out there that will actually have better success with fat loss on a lower carb diet. Now, I'm talking people with PCOS. Some people with autoimmune conditions actually thrive better on lower carb. One thing that we know from a hormonal point of view, so when we're getting older and our hormones are changing, women tend to be quite carb heavy, and that means, hi, I'm back. I don't know if you got all of that, but my son was on a WhatsApp call with his granny, and cut the connection. So yeah. So typically what we're seeing with women, 40s, 50s, 60s, when we've got hormonal changes, we tend to not have a lot of fat in our diets. So that comes from conditioning over the years. You know, we've been told in the last few decades that low fat is what we need to lose weight, because fat makes fat, which is balls. So we need to have some kind of protocol for our nutrition that is not cutting out entire food groups, that we have a healthy balance of all of them, because they all, carbs, fats and proteins, all have benefits to us. So we need to have something that is sustainable, that's going to stop us over restricting, because if we over restrict, we are going to binge, we are going to overeat at some point, we are going to have not psychological issues, but you know, it is going to play in our minds, because you're going to have cut out carbs, and then day 3 all you're thinking about is a baguette, and then day 5 all you're thinking of is a big bowl of spaghetti, and then you know you will crave, and then you will binge. So it's about introducing healthy habits that can be maintainable as part of your lifestyle, what is important to you and your family, so that you can still have the foods that you absolutely love, but you can still lose body fat. So the goal here is not deprivation. We don't subscribe to deprivation, because yes, it can be a quick fix and it can be useful for some people. You know, if I was a bikini competitor and I had a show in a couple of weeks, which I'm not and I don't, but I would be getting to the point where I would be going very low in my calories. I would be like the day before, I wouldn't be drinking any water. I'd be going in dehydrated. I'd be over consuming in carbs to kind of give myself a little bit of vascularness, you know, veins popping. But I am not, and I don't think any of you are either. So there is no real need for deprivation or cutting out entire food groups unless there is a medical reason for it. Okay, myth number 1 debunked. Any questions? I know that I paused, but hopefully you got most of that. So I'm just checking. Any questions? No. Fabulous. Right. Myth number 2. The 800 calorie diet. Oh my goodness me. Right. So everybody knows somebody, everybody knows somebody whose word is gospel. There's somebody in the work, there's one of your friends that goes, this is the only way to lose body fat, whether that is keto, Michael Mosley's 800 calorie diet, fasting, Weight Watchers, Slimming World. You know, everybody has somebody in their life. There is not one single way. There is one single way, but there is not one single method of that way. And if you go to Google or you check Amazon, there is thousands of books, thousands of PDFs, thousands of plans, thousands out there. So it can't possibly be that one size fits all, because, you know, I have successfully lost weight in the past on Weight Watchers, but gained weight on Slimming World. Somebody in the group here may have successfully lost weight with Cambridge, but for somebody else it didn't do anything other than give them a dicky tummy. So there is not only one way that works, but the principle that all diets have is being in a calorie deficit. So looking at the 800 calorie diet, now your average, I couldn't even compute an average woman's calories, right? So say, for example, my calories, say 1,700, 800 calories, 1,800 calories a day is mine for fat loss. So an 800 calorie a day diet is, of course I'm going to lose weight. Of course I'm going to lose body fat, but I cannot sustain it. And I go in groups with women like you guys, various different groups, and you know, there are always somebody saying Michael Mosley's 800 calorie diet is the only way to do it. I've been doing it for 5 months. Right, from a metabolic point of view, you know, your body function of taking food and using it as energy is going to be screwed. Like months and months at 800 calories a day is just not good for you. We need more food than that. It's the same with Weight Watchers, you know. I know Weight Watchers changes and evolves and whatnot. The first time I did it, it was on, I can't even remember, 2004, 2005. And I lost loads of weight, but I wasn't exercising. The second time that I went to do it, I nearly chewed off my own arm because I was exercising, and the points that I had were horrific. Like, I actually was sitting like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, oh, I've got it, I'm so hungry. Could not do it. And that was actually one of the triggers that got me starting thinking about you know, there must be a way of doing it differently rather than just relying on very tactical quick fixes. So yeah, thank you, Weight Watchers. Thanks. So there's no one right way. There's, you know, you can pick and choose from various parts of the big names and it will work. But fundamentally, again, it all comes down to being in a calorie deficit. It all comes down to being in a calorie deficit in a way that works with you and your lifestyle, that works for you, that's not something that you're constantly fighting against and constantly always having to think about. So something that is sustainable, that the results become permanent, you know, finding a good balance with food and exercise and mindset, you know, that's the long-term goal. So it's not a thing, it's just something that you do. And that's the whole point. I mean, that's the whole purpose of why we do what we do. It's getting people to a place where, you know, being healthy and lean is just the person that they are. It's not this constant thought. It's not this weight on their shoulders or around the middle. So yeah, there is no one way fits all. So when somebody in your work tells you that, then you can stand confidently say bullshit. The third one, supplements. Now, I must be an advertiser's dream because I get all the sponsored posts for fat loss. You know, have this magic pill, try this, it's amazing. And even when you go into fairly reputable supplement sites, like even Holland & Barrett sell fat burners, which just boils my blood. So I explained a lot. Metabolism is the process where your body is using food and turning it into energy, essentially. And everybody's metabolism is different. It depends on how old you are, how active you are, how much body fat you have, height, everything. I'm just trying to think how much exercise you do. And the more, if you have a speedier or higher metabolism, it means that you can take calories and burn more fat than somebody with a lower metabolism. And the higher metabolism, any leftover energy, your energy is spent rather than being left over and then stored as fat. So a slower metabolism can be a side effect of very low calorie diets. It can be a sign of yo-yo dieting and binge dieting and crash dieting and all these things. So that's why, you know, that long-term dieting can actually be very detrimental to long-term fat loss. So there aren't actually any supplements that can speed up fat loss or speed up metabolism. You know, it is what it is. So, you know, for the sake of your own bank balance and your own sanity, just avoid them completely. You know, the only guaranteed way of increasing your metabolism is actually having more muscle tissue. The more muscle we have, the higher our metabolism is, because our body uses more energy for muscles to function than fat or water or fluid in the body. So the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn. You can get more muscle by doing strength work, resistance training, you know, using resistant bands, kettlebells, dumbbells, barbells, and actually working on those muscles. The other necessary part is obviously calories, but you can burn calories from exercising, but you can get a much bigger bang for your buck for calories by reducing your calorific intake rather than trying to increase your calorific spend. Just as a very rough calculation, some of you might have done MetaFit before, which is a 30-minute high-intensity class. And on a good, it says that you can burn 800 calories in 24 hours. Like, you can, if you are, you know, working at your highest possible heart rate for that full amount of time. So for me, I calculated that I maybe burn on a very intense one is like just less than 300 calories. On average, it's more like 200 calories. If you think about a packet of crisps, you know, a normal packet of cheese and onion crisps, about 150 calories a bag. So it's not actually one HIIT class a week. It's probably easier to not eat 2 packets of crisps. There you go. So supplements, stay away from them. We do advocate some supplement use that is at an individual level. And we take our clients through that when they onboard with us and take them through why it's important. The other myth number 4 is focusing purely on calories. Now, yes, being in a calorie deficit will help you lose body fat, but we also have to promote long-term health. So in theory, you could eat Happy Meals and Big Macs and fizzy juice all week long, And if you're in a calorie deficit, you'll lose body fat. But from a health point of view, from a nutritional point of view, it's not that great. You know, your skin's going to be rotten, your breath's going to be stinking, your digestive system is going to be all over the place. You're going to be bloated, you're going to be sallow, nails might start being a bit weak, spotty. All in all, not very attractive, really. So yes, calories are obviously very, very important for fat loss, but we want you to be healthy and we want you to have the optimum energy. One of the two big resources us girls over 40 face is energy and time. So, you know, if you're losing energy, that's going to impact on everybody around about you. It's going to impact on your work. It's going to impact on the family. So we don't want you to be low in energy. So when you're looking at, you know, long-term fat loss, we want to have calorie deficit, but we also want to have health, you know, nutritional food, consideration of macros, like not too high fat, not all carbohydrates. We need a nice even split across the board. Fibre is also really important as well, and vitamins and minerals as well. So a diet that is designed purely for fat loss might actually not be that healthy. If you think about Slimming World's obsession with Miller Lights, they're really, really high sugar and artificial sweeteners, but they are low in fat, and as such, they're fairly low in calories. On the flip side, a healthy diet might not actually be that good for fat loss. If you think of health foods, which are actually really, I don't know why I did inverted commas there, that was really bad, but eggs, quite high in fat, salmon, really high in fat, but they are healthy foods. They're jam-packed full of nutrients and vitamins, so we need them, but they're quite high calorie. So, you know, it's being aware of what it is that you're eating and why you're eating it. So, you know, a bottle of Diet Coke and a packet of chewing gum is really, really low calories, there's 0 calories, but is an apple and a small glass of orange juice better for you? You know, it's weighing up those things. And there is a happy medium, you know, that's not about being organic, everything organic and health grown out your garden. That's not realistic. And if you want that, then there's loads of places you can go. And that's fine, but for most people, there is a balance. You know, I like a packet of McDonald's French fries as much as the next person. Probably maybe even a little bit more, but I don't have it very, very often. But I also love eggs and Whole Foods, and I will trundle off to my farmer's market and get what I can when they open. Okay, so myth number 5. Willpower and motivation. Now, this is huge. Now, I've spoken to probably quite a lot of you who are watching this on the phone one way or another. Some of you have become clients, some haven't. And one of the biggest things I hear when I ask is, what is it that you think you need? More motivation and more willpower. And it's almost like people think they're a failure because they don't have enough willpower, or they don't have enough motivation, and they feel like failures because of that. Now, that's not your fault by any stretch of the imagination, because I have been witness to coaches and trainers putting things on social media, saying things to people's faces, you just don't want it bad enough, which I've had that said to me before by a personal trainer. You just don't want it bad enough. I was like, no, I do, but you know, we all have issues with willpower and motivation, and that's normal. We should, because nobody operates willpower and motivation up here. We have it like this. It's the same as fat loss. It's like this. So it's not dependable. It can't be a permanent state. It's not a permanent state, and it shouldn't be a permanent state. So when we feel like we've failed because we've eaten too much or we've drank too much, you know, beating yourself up about that is not going to help you long term. It's not going to do you any favours. We have to have a little bit of acceptance, but you have to ask yourself the hard questions. You know, why does this happen? What could I have done before that happened to stop it or change it or to change the direction? And very often it is habit. Very often it's you've got used to coming in on a Friday night and sitting on the sofa with a bottle of wine and a packet of crisps. I don't know, you know, it could be on a Thursday night you come in and you have a packet of digestive biscuits and butter. You know, it's a lot of it can be habitual, and it's about how do we build in new strategies, how do we build in new rituals to eventually overcome and replace those old ones. So this is where, you know, it can be really important to understand why it's important, why you want to change it, because if we have that why, then we we have something to fight for, and also having accountability. You know, if it's not with a coach, you know, with a friend. I spoke before about, you know, using friends as accountability coaches is not often a good idea because, you know, nobody wants to be mean, and being accountable isn't somebody being mean to you, but somebody challenging you, somebody challenging your behaviours and your actions and working out a plan on overcoming that. So that's why we need goals, and we need a why, and we need accountability. And I think myth number 6, you get fat after 40. This is another really common statement that I hear is, well, I'm in my 40s now, so it's inevitable. Well, it's not. It really isn't. Like, you know, there's plenty of people in their 40s and 50s and 60s in this group who are not overweight, who are fairly lean. And that's great. It's not inevitable. It doesn't have to be inevitable. So you get to decide if it's inevitable or not. You know, you can choose to accept it, and that's fine, you know. But if you don't want to accept it, then you don't have to accept it. So, you know, hormones as we age are going to change where we store our fat. So we're going to see more fat on our tummies. That's hormones. That's what they do. They are evil at times. Our slowing metabolism is going to make it harder to lose weight because we need less energy, we need less calories as we age, and we don't always adapt. So if we don't adapt, it means that we're going to be eating in a calorie surplus, which means we're going to gain body fat. And slow metabolism makes it harder to lose that weight as well. So very often it's not the hormones and it's not the metabolism, it's actually as a result to our behaviours because of those changes. So, you know, as we age, all these hormonal changes, it changes how we manage stress, it changes our sleep, it changes our tolerance levels, it changes our body temperature. You know, there's loads of changes that happen that mean that we react to things differently. So, you know, you've had a stressful day, whereas before you could have shrugged it off because of the mood changes that we're experiencing. So maybe taking things a little bit more to heart. So we'll come home really stressed and really upset, and we'll maybe have, oh, I just can't be bothered, I'll just have a takeaway. Or I really just want a glass of wine. Or whatever the thing is. So we tend to overconsume that way. Stress levels can be really, really high. Tolerance levels, all these different things. And if we have more stress, we will have more cortisol, which again can then impact how we're losing weight. So it's not a happy place. Like it doesn't have to be doom and gloom. It doesn't have to be inevitable, but there is this understanding that there's all these things happening underneath the surface. So it's those behaviours that very often will cause us to gain fat. Sorry, battery error came up there. So again, it all boils back to good nutrition, exercise, good rituals and habits, behaviour change, all of these things that are going to help us get lean if we're overweight or stay lean if we are already there in the first place. So that's your 6 myths debunked. Does anyone have any other ones? Let's just check here. Do we have... Oh, we've got loads of people joined now. Hi, ladies. Hi, my loves. Pop me a little comment if you've got anything that you want debunked. Ooh, my laptop just fell off the desk. That's awkward. So yes, that's 6 myths for now. That's quite a lot to be getting on with. So if any of these apply to you, I want to know. If you have been caught up in any of these, I want to know, so drop your comments below. For those of you watching who are not part of our elite squad, our academy group of coolness, and I can see a few of you are, some of you waiting to get in. So yes, if you need help, if you are fed up wasting time and energy, remember they are 2 of our greatest resources. If you're fed up wasting time and energy, going round in circles, holler, holler, holler. You know, our goal is for you to thrive. You know, our goal is for you to have optimum health. Our goal is for you to have full confidence and joy in you and your body, and all the benefits that brings. There's heaps of benefits. So if you don't know what it is that we do, then there's a YouTube link on there which I take you through kind of the fundamentals of what we do and how it works. And if you want personalised support, if you need one-on-one help, if you need nutrition, exercise, mindset coaching, then please drop me a message with I am ready. So yeah, it's been a blast. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've, yes, Gainer, the more you eat, the more you lose. Such a revelation, honestly. See when, oh, my God, that revelation. The day, I'm just thinking back to, there was a specific time where I was sitting at my desk at my old job, and it was kind of a pod of desks, and I sat at the end, and I was just like, oh, I'm so hungry, so hungry. I actually thought I was going to pass away because I don't cope well with hunger. And if any of my family members are watching this, they will know that I do not cope well with hunger. But I do know now that hunger is not an emergency. And if you know, you know. All right, my loves, peace out. I am going to go and make a prawn stir fry for dinner just now. And I really love prawns, so I'm really looking forward to it. So have a lovely evening, and I'll see you next week for our training. Probably, obviously, we'll be in the group before. Have an awesome night. Night night.